Hello, good everyone. The event is about to start now. So, once before the event starts or as the event is going on, you can as well register your name. Just put your name on the chat section, and what you're going to put at the chat section is going to be your name, your phone number, and your email address. So, please, I want to urge everyone to do that before the event starts, or you can do that when the event ends or at the middle of the event. Thank you very much.
Okay, sir.
Good, everyone. I'm welcoming all of us to this PHP event tagged PHP framework and their status in 2020. So I really welcome every one of us for joining this channel to attend this meeting, and I believe we're going to really enjoy the meeting. And I really want us to introduce ourselves. My name is Falore Abayomi. I'm one of the I will be one of the speakers in today's event. So I would love us to introduce ourselves, starting from Mr. Dare Oloruntoba. Can you please let us know you, sir?
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
My name is Lauren Towadare Gideon.
All right. And what do you do?
I'm PHP.
Developer. All right. Then the next person will be Mr. Ezekiah. Ezekiah, can you please let us know you? Oh, I think Ezekiah has lost his network. Then Mr. Seyi, can we know you, please?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Seyi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Okay. My name is Ereyomi Oluwaseyi Samuel. Yeah, a full stack developer.
Oh, wow, that's good. Thanks so much for telling us about yourself. Then I will have to introduce um, the the CEO by myself. He doesn't need to introduce himself. I'll be the one to do that.
I will introduce myself. So my name is Bade. I'm CTO for Social Lender. I've had background in PHP in the past as well. So happy to be here. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. Thanks so much, sir. It's an honor to have you with us this afternoon. Thanks so much, sir. So today we are going to be discussing about, as I said earlier on, that we'll be discussing about PHP frameworks and their status in 2020. And I am one of the speakers, and my colleague who will be speaking alongside with me is Mr. Seyi, who just introduced himself the other time as a full stack developer. So we both will be telling us telling us about PHP framework and their status in 2020. So without wasting our time, we have to start going deeper. So I'll be the first speaker in this meetup this afternoon. So and I will be speaking on that same topic as well, the PHP framework and their status in 2020. Meanwhile, I will not really go deeper by mentioning the frameworks because my colleague will go deeper in telling us more about all we need to know about PHP frameworks and their status in 2020. So me, I will just be introducing us to the importance of PHP frameworks, why we need to why we need to why we need to use PHP frameworks and not just using PHP vanilla in our project alone. So I will be speaking about PHP framework, introducing us to what PHP framework is all about, why we need to choose PHP frameworks, and those things put we need to have in mind before choosing PHP framework. So the PHP, PHP means hypertext processor. we all know it to be a programming language that allows web developers to create dynamic content that interacts with databases. PHP, which is basically used for developing web-based software applications as a server-side language, and it has designed remarkable growth in the last few years. The major reason for this application built using PHP framework is highly responsive and well-defined to fulfilling distinct business requirements. So PHP framework is hypertext processor programming language and is very popular. And PHP has been around for some years now, and it has grown. I mean, a large community. A lot of developers uses PHP, and PHP is very very impressive to use. Once you start coding with the language, there's no way you're not gonna fall in love with PHP. And the W3 Tech survey states that 82% of the majority web servers uses PHP as their development tool. Yes, 82% of websites worldwide uses PHP. So that tells us that PHP is popular. So that tells us that a lot of people is in love with PHP. So, and that is why today we'll be discussing about the PHP, the language itself, then and its framework in the year 2020. Yes, it is obvious. Yes, one might ask that why is PHP so popular? Why is PHP so popular among programming languages? Yes, these are the reasons. It provides, or let me just say, these are some of the reasons. It provides great HTML and database integration support. Yes, you can easily use PHP with HTML. It's very easy. So you can integrate it with PHP. With HTML and database integration. That is, it's PHP uses a lot of database like MySQL. It uses MySQL. It uses talk about talk about SQLite. Talks about so many languages like that. So it uses a lot of, you can integrate it with a lot of database. It supports a lot of database. Then PHP interactive features with other tools. Yes, you can as well use PHP with other tools. It has good it supports API, very good at that. Then it is a language that is easy to learn in a short while. Yes, PHP is very easy to learn. In fact, it's very easy to learn. This is one of the reasons why developers around all over the world is in love with PHP, because it is very easy to learn. Like the learning curve is just too small. So, and PHP help developers more than one way to promote rapid application development, from the design structures, providing the building blocks of them. Then the next one is that it improves speed of development as much as it improves speed of execution. Yes, PHP, you can easily, like your development, when you're developing with PHP, like it makes your development to be quite fast, and it improves speed. Yes, within a short while you will be able to build and complete your project. PHP is able to deliver exceptionally fast turnaround times because it has a sufficient large family of PHP framework. Yes, it has a lot of frameworks. PHP is very efficient, and it has a lot of framework that you can pick from so many PHP frameworks. And we'll be discussing today. We'll be discussing about their one of the things we're discussing about is their popularity, the PHP framework, like the one that is trendy 2020, and stuff like that. Yeah, someone might ask that why do we need to use PHP frameworks? Like, why can't I just use PHP vanilla? Why can't I just use core PHP without using any frameworks? Why do I need to choose PHP framework? Well, these are the reasons. Because PHP provides huge benefits for both developers and business owner in terms of development, scalability, and security. Here are some benefits of using PHP to developing tool. The first one is that it has a well-designed PHP framework. It helps you in implementing common problems. Yes, PHP a lot of well-designed PHP frameworks. And one of the shortcomings of PHP is that your coding, like your code might be so bad, like because your code might be so bad when you are writing code if you are not very good at PHP. So your code might have a lot of vulnerabilities. Code might have a lot of issues, and that is where frameworks come in. So PHP frameworks, I mean the PHP frameworks, they are well built. Yes, they are well built, and it helps you implementing common problem. That is common problem you might face, you might encounter while using PHP. If you are using the framework, it will be very easier to overcome such problems. Since it is an open source community that provides you with an application architecture to guide your development. Yes, I think all the frameworks, all PHP frameworks is open source anyway, and that it provides you with an application architecture to guide your development. Yes, so it will, like, the frameworks guide you in your development. Like, the framework is kind of constraint you, like it's kind of constraint you from doing, like, from writing codes that are not conventional. Like, there are some codes that we write that is not really conventional, like it's not the proper way of writing it. But framework will constrain you, like, to write your code efficiently, and not writing it in other way around. So PHP frameworks helps you to it helps to guide you when you are writing your code, and not to write codes that are not conventional, that most professional developers don't really support such writing such codes. As we mentioned above, they make you more secure for your application. Yes, PHP frameworks, it makes your application to be very secure. Yes, it makes it. That's one of the goal of frameworks. That is to ensure that that your website or web application is well secured by following proper protocol, proper rules. So these are one of the most important things that frameworks is very good at. They kind of make your website, your website secure. Many people think that PHP is full of vulnerability. The thing is that there is no programming language that doesn't have its own vulnerability. Yes, no application is perfect, and no programming language is the best. So the thing is that what makes a programming good depends on the developer. Yes, it depends on the developer. It's not the fault of the programming language. The way you write your code. One can write code in Python, Java, and the code will have a lot of vulnerabilities than the code written in PHP. That's the truth. So it all depends on the developer. It all depends on the developer. So every programming language has their own vulnerability. So the goal of the developer is to be able to write efficiently, to write code efficiently, to make sure that a proper, the proper way of writing code professionally should be followed. Then the fourth one is that each PHP solution that presents in modern PHP frameworks are continuously tested. The thing is that all PHP frameworks are continuously tested, and we a framework like Laravel, from time to time they keep releasing new let me just say new version of Laravel. Yes, so they keep developing, improving on framework like Laravel. Before you know it now, they might release Laravel 7.1 or 7.2 today, and the next 3 months they release another version. So that is the way it works. So frameworks, they are very efficient. That is the small reason why we really need to consider to use PHP frameworks, and not just to stick with vanilla or core PHP. Then additionally, they are peer reviewed and validated by multiple developers using the framework. Yes, because a lot of professional developers they keep contributing to the framework. So that's one of the reasons why a developer should consider. That's one of the reasons why we need to consider PHP frameworks. Why? Because it is being tested every time. Then it is being reviewed every time. Then it is validated by multiple professional developers out there. So that's one of the reasons why we need to consider PHP frameworks. Then the security issues and other problem that you might face in your established codes get noticed and faced since it's an open source. Yes, a lot of issues that might be faced in our code get quickly fixed since it's an open source framework. Then as well, we can develop code that are loosely coupled. This leads to easy in reading, testing, maintaining, and developing further. Yes, frameworks helps us to test our code, help us to test our code better. Then some of the security issues PHP frameworks help to minimize. Yeah, I just want to discuss this, that what some of the security issues PHP frameworks help to minimize, because this one of the reason again that why we need to choose frameworks, to choose PHP frameworks, because a lot of security loopholes PHP frameworks will help us to minimize or reduce or completely remove such loopholes. It all depends on the developer. So PHP frameworks reduce XSS attacks, which stands for cross-site scripting, and is a very common attack in blogs and in forum. In XSS attack, the attacker will write a malicious script, for example, in the comment box of an innocent website, and then once the comment is displayed to other users, the script will do something malicious to visitor, download a virus, or send advertising. Yes, frameworks help us to reduce XSS attack from malicious user. You know, some use malicious user. That is why most hackers out there, they kind of find a way to input malicious scripts or code into our website form, and by that, and they have access to our system. So, but PHP framework helps to reduce such risk. Yes, it helps to reduce such risk, because by helping us by sanitizing our code, by cleaning our form before it is being submitted to the database. Yes, because if our form is not sanitized, or is not stripped, before it gets submitted into the database, a malicious user can manipulate, as in get access to our server and do a lot of damages. So this is just the diagram flow of XXX attack, when the user will just inject a malicious script into the website. Then after that, then it goes. Then our web server becomes vulnerable. Then from that, compromised web application. Then it will now send a message. Then the end user will now retrieve the page content that has been compromised by the malicious script. So then the second one, which is the last one in security issues, CSRF stands for cross-site request forgery. It is also known as XSRF, one-click attack, or session writing and the stone of the less known attacks. So frameworks help us to reduce this kind of attack as well. By I noticed something in Laravel that when like every request, every post request, or any request, post or get any request made by the user, there is a kind of token that comes along with that request. There is a kind of token that comes along with that request. That's one of the things that frameworks help us to achieve. To do that in vanilla PHP, you will have to write a lot of code, and possibly you might not even know the efficient tool on how to do that anyway. But the thing is that PHP frameworks helps us to achieve this. So this is a diagram flow of CSF attack. the malicious user just send a link to our website. Then from there, from there, our website then goes to the to the server. Then it just that flow. So these are things that PHP frameworks helps us to reduce. So we have to it's not really professional for us to stick with the core PHP without using framework. So projects should not good projects should not be built with core PHP except that you really know what you are doing. Except if you are very very good and if I mean very good, I mean very very good. So because some websites require a lot of requires a lot of security. Like you cannot be developing be developing a payment website, a site that has to do with digital banking, things like that, and you want to be using core PHP unless you know what you're really doing, and unless you have a group of developers that are very good working alongside with you. So it is not so a lot of things that you need to do manually on your own, a lot of things that you need to put into consideration on your own. PHP frameworks will just help you to achieve it without any struggle, without any stress. This is why PHP framework is very efficient. Then what are the ways to choose PHP frameworks? Yes, before we start moving into the PHP frameworks which my colleague will talk about, moving to PHP frameworks and their status in 2020. But I just really want us to know all these things, the way to choose PHP frameworks. There are many PHP frameworks available. We know that there are so many PHP frameworks available out there, but you need to pick frameworks which suit on your application and business requirements. The thing is that every framework, there is no framework that is not good. Anything work is very good. It all depends. It all depends on the project you want to work on. It all depends on what suits you. So you pick a project. You pick a framework based on your needs, based on what you want to achieve, based on what you have in mind. So there is no framework that is not efficient. There is no framework that doesn't have its cons and pros, things like that. So every framework has the advantages and disadvantages. And the thing is that before I go further, framework doesn't give us 100% guarantee that our web application is going to be secure. That's just the truth. But PHP frameworks just helps us to reduce risk. Yes, it helps us to reduce risk because there is no perfect system. There is no perfect system, and there is no system that doesn't have a kind of loopholes. PHP frameworks only helps us to reduce those loopholes, and the rest now depends on you. Depends on how you are able to use sufficiently the provisions of that framework. That is it. So how well you are able to use efficiently the provisions made by that framework. So what are the features functionality that you need in the frameworks? Then okay, these are ways. What are the features and functionality that you need in the future? Yeah, ask yourself this question before you search a framework. That what are the features and functionality that I need in this framework? So that will help you to choose and decide which framework to use. Which learning curve of the framework will help your application development more? Yeah, you have to decide. You will have to decide which application will really help you will really help you to learn, to be able to, that will help your learning curve, that reduce your learning curve. Then how scalable is the framework application? That is how scalable the framework for your application. Then is the framework actively developed and maintained by core team? Yes, you will have to consider the developers that are maintaining the framework, like how large are the how large how much how many developers are really supporting that particular framework. That is how many developers are really maintaining that particular framework. Some frameworks are not some frameworks lacks maintenance. That is the truth. Some framework lacks maintenance, so you have to discover the community of developers that are really maintaining the language. Do you want the framework to provide long-term support? Yeah. If you really want, then you have to consider the long-term support of the framework. Then does the framework have strong community support to help you with development? Yes, because the thing is that in the course of using the framework, you might encounter issues, problems that you need solutions. you might encounter something that really some issues that you want to solve. Then how large is the community? Like that is how large is the community? So you have to consider the community of developers that are supporting the framework, so that you can quickly get answer or response to your to the issue you have. Then once you arrive, and once you get to an answer for your above questions analysis, the different frameworks that are available in market to decide on which PHP framework to use for your project. Then after you must have answered those questions, things like that, then you should now be able to decide which framework to use for your project. So this will be the end of this the first section. So I don't know if we have any question before my colleague take us further. So if we have any question. Do we have any question before my colleague takes us further? Okay. If there is no question, so if there is no question, I will be inviting Seyi to take us further on PHP frameworks. Mr. Seyi, are you there?
Yes. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you. Please take us further.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Okay.
Sir.
Good afternoon, we can hear you.
Oh, I would love to ask a question. Ask us a question. What really is a framework? Anybody that can answer that? Because if we don't understand that, then there's no sense of us continuing this. So, what is the framework? Who can help us with that? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we are with you.
So, what is a framework? Please, can someone define that for us?
Before we go further.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you say
Yes, I can hear you, Shika.
okay, that's a framework. It's a idea. Already aku concide in ko ang oga iku kan yuki ku kekeo enge ake kan wrong.
Okay.
Hello. Another person want to help us out with the definition of a framework? Does anybody have, let me say, an advanced or he or she feel he has a definition of framework? I believe you can all hear me.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I want us to read more about framework. There is a difference between framework and libraries. As we see it in JavaScript environment. Till today, some people still think React is a framework where Angular is a library. But today we'll be talking about PHP framework. There's a difference between a library and a framework, and I want us to research about that. So, popular PHP framework in 2020. Popular PHP frameworks in 2020. My name is Ereyomi Samuel. I'm a full stack developer and I love to code actually. So I don't know how to hide it. If you want to check my details, like you want to get to know me, you can check my LinkedIn account and my repo. You can check my repo. So the first PHP framework I'll be talking about is Laravel. I believe you can all hear me.
Yes,
Hello.
we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay. The first one is Laravel. Okay, sir. The first one is Laravel. Like this guy, he just derived the pride on elegant syntax as out of all the PHP framework that have been built over time. He holds on to his pride, which is what elegant syntax. So the Laravel framework is renowned for its elegant syntax, which is easy to grab, a pleasure to work with. And Laravel is a free open source PHP framework. But there is a question: why Laravel? Why should I choose to use Laravel? I don't know. We have a lot of PHP framework there that I can actually use. Why choose Laravel? Actually, Laravel is structured in a way that it can handle complex web applications securely at a considerable fast pace other frameworks actually. I've used some frameworks like not actually just want to play around with them, and I've seen the way they are. But talking about Laravel, like it is built to manage different level of applications, and it's fast. Laravel simplifies the development process by easy common tasks such as routing. Imagine immediately you open a Laravel app, your routes are already there. You don't need to stress yourself about that. Just start including them. In less than 2 minutes or 1 minute, you are done setting up your route into your controller. That is my framework, and that is every framework has its own design pattern. And Laravel is structured to make use of MVP, that is model view controller. I believe you can all hear me, or am I too fast? Hello, I believe you can all hear me.
We can hear you
Okay,
clearly.
so one thing I want us to take notes now is you should go and research on MVP design patterns for web development, application development, software development. These are essentials. These are key to development. Yeah, I recall when I was going through Node, I didn't even using Express. For those of us, the reason why I'm talking about Node is also a back-end environment for JavaScript. Node is not a programming language. I often hear people comparing Node with PHP. This Node is not a programming language. Node is an environment for JavaScript. When I see them comparing rerouting libraries in frameworks such as Laravel to Node, I feel like, for God's sake, two of them are totally different. And I want us to research on the design patterns. These design patterns, I also noticed that it was being used in Node. Also, MVP, Model View Controller. And this is essential for us to know as developer. So let's continue. So there are some common tasks that normally, if you're writing your pure PHP, you have to go through the stress of designing your routing, sessions, caching, authentication, and the rest. The stress is too much. But Laravel, just with PHP Artisan, this inbuilt command, all these are even set up from the package itself. And that is the sweet thing of using Laravel. I do use Laravel, so I know what I'm talking about. When you first install Laravel on your system, this is how the view look like. This one is just for you to play around with, and this a normal view of how Laravel look like. And note, Laravel ship in with front end library or frameworks that you want. I believe we have heard of Vue before. I believe we have heard of Vue. Hello, are we there? Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. I believe my this thing is clear over there.
Yes, it's clear.
Okay.
Yes.
How many of us have heard of Vue before? Now we have heard of React. We have heard of Angular. So Laravel ship in with all these library. It supports Vue, supports React. But if you have to use Angular with it, there's a way you have to do your folder structuring. And with Vue, it's very interesting what you can do with Laravel and single page application. And that is another time I would also want us to jot down and research about. Now, Laravel also shipping with a template engine which is Blade. Now, no company wants to employ you just as a front-end developer without you able to write some certain front-end engine. We have Twig, we have Blade, we have many of them. So Laravel supports Blade engine for front-end development. And that is one thing I would advise any of us that is into front-end to take note of. Nobody wants to employ a front-end developer that is just focused on HTML, CSS alone. They want you to be able to also work on template engines such as Laravel. So why should I use Laravel? I think I've talked about something of such the other time. Laravel is suitable when you are building an application with complex backend requirements, like very big one or large. It's a PHP framework full of features that help you to customize complex applications. Like the MVC pattern in Laravel is nice, superb. The security is it's top notch. Routing, view, template engine, which I talked about the other time, authentication, even your API token verification. This comes in like a full package for you in Laravel. Now, Laravel is highly expressive and security are in line with the expectation of a modern web application. A modern web application. That is why Laravel is so connected with Vue, like we call it. And Vue is a lightweight library for JavaScript, very easy to learn. So it makes it easier for you when you start Vue, you learn Laravel with ease and you become a full stack developer. Now, for developer, I think I'll stop here for Laravel. Then we have Code Igniter. Code Igniter. People call it the Igniter. People that love it so much. That is what they always feel as if they are the top of the world. And I'll be like, wow, I love Code Igniter. That's what they will say. Now, what is Code Igniter? Code Igniter is known for its small footprint. Like, it's very small, like in size. When you are compared to Laravel, which is big, the Laravel, when you are installing Laravel application in a local environment, it's big in size, vendor size application, even your front end. But Code Igniter is very, very small. Joint with the documentation, and it's 2 megabytes in size. Now, Code Igniter is a PHP framework suitable for developing dynamic websites. It offers numerous of built modules that can help you consult robust and reusable components. Well, the reason why some will actually choose this is being light, and that is one thing that people want. Something that is light, something that load on the page faster. Now, this is an environment for it. It's not that clear. I'd love to show this very well. So, reason why should I use Code Igniter? Code Igniter is lightweight. That is one of the reasons why many people will want to use it. It's straightforward. It's a straightforward framework that is hassle-free to install, like very easy. In 1 or 2 minutes, you have installed it. Due to simple setup and highly illustrative recognition, some people from use it, they start with Code Igniter as beginner, like it's ideal for a beginner to start Code Igniter. Key features in Code Igniter are the MVC, the same MVC architecture I talked about, the top-notch error handling, inbuilt security tools, simple SLN documentation. And also, compared to other frameworks, Code Igniter is considerably fast. Why is it fast? Because it's light. It's light compared to other frameworks. Just 2 megabytes. Imagine the speed. It's a good choice when you want to develop a light application. Don't forget, from Laravel, we are talking of enterprise applications that are scalable. Now, they are telling us here that Code Igniter is nice for lightweight application to run on a model server. Now, that is just all about Code Igniter. Now, Symfony, I believe we are all here. You can hear me. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I
hope I'm not too fast. I believe I'm not.
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Symfony, the guy. Some people will say the guy maintains standard. Is my slide showing over there? Okay.
It is showing.
I believe you're correct. Yeah, okay. Now, symphony, the guy, everybody, people that love symphony will be like, oh, the guy that maintains standard. Like, he maintains the standard of design patterns. That's how some people will put it, design patterns. Because we have design patterns as per web development, design patterns in HTML, design patterns in CSS, JavaScript, PHP, and all etc. Many developers actually don't follow these design patterns. Even many frameworks don't follow design patterns per se. Or in the name of they are trading off some certain things, maybe for performance, for security, and the rest. For Symfony, yeah, the guy maintains standard. So Symfony has been in existence for much longer than every frameworks on the list. It's reliable and mature. Now, intensive PHP MVC framework. MVC. You discover that all these frameworks are making use of this MVC design pattern. So it's essential for us if you call yourself a software developer, a software engineer, to understand this MVC pattern. MVC, don't forget, I said it the other time, model view controller, model view controller. I want us to actually study it if you don't understand MVC. It is very, very essential. And the only framework that follow PHP and web standard. You can see why the people say the guy that followed standard, Symfony, the guy that followed. This is where they get it from. It follows the PHP and web standards to the T. Like every code you want to write in Symfony, they are laid down in standard. You can't just type certain things. That's why one of the beginners have with Symfony, you can't catch up with it. So you can't catch up with the standard. So it's not always advisable to go for Symfony as a beginner. Reason to use Symfony. Symfony is the perfect choice for developing large-scale enterprise projects. It is easy to install and configure on many programs, on many platforms. One of the key features is its reusable PHP components. One day I was typing, I went to download a Laravel application and I was going through it. And I discovered why a part of it, a component, a Symfony component in Laravel app. And I'm like, wow, interesting. And that is one of the key features of Symfony. You can use its components because of the standard, because it maintains PHP standard and web standard. So it's easy to integrate into other libraries, under frameworks. It also boosts database independence and it is stable, complies with most web best practice and design patterns and allow for integration with other vendor libraries. You see the reason why. So don't be amazed when you are working with some libraries, you are working with some framework and you see Symfony there, Symfony component. Don't be amazed. It's because its components can be usable. Its components can be usable. Symfony is also highly flexible and can be integrated with bigger projects like Drupal. So if you see Symfony with Drupal, it's because of its standard of writing. So it's make it easier to integrate, make it easier to use in other projects. Now the fourth one is Cake PHP. Like for God's sake, Cake PHP. If you are looking for toolkit that is simple and elegant, that's what they'll tell you. If you are looking for that toolkit that is simple and elegant, don't stress yourself. Don't look for that. It's Cake PHP, Cake PHP framework, and that's what makes it to be the fourth on the list of the most popular framework as of 2020. Cake PHP will help you develop visual, impressive, feature-loaded websites. Like in addition, Cake PHP is one of the easiest framework to learn as a beginner. Cake PHP is very, very easy to learn. The documentation is nice to learn. Like the documentation is seamless. Like some people will feel it. Like You just wake up today, oh, as a PHP beginner, you want to learn one framework, pick PHP. That is what they will tell you. Because it's easier, and especially because of its crude operation, create, read, update, and delete. Note, every framework can actually do that, but it's simplified in case PHP. Reason to use Cake PHP. PHP is simple and easy to install. As you also need web server and a copy of the framework, it is good choice for commercial application due to the security features such as SQL injection prevention, input validation, cross-site, SSS, and etc. Some key features include modern frameworks, fast-built, proper class inheritance. Some frameworks don't have proper class inheritance. That is why they are not on even the list. I didn't put some on this list. So they have issues with maybe some things such as proper class inheritance, because that is one of those keys. That is one of the keys in a framework. Validation security. In addition, CakePHP provides great documentation. Many support portals, even like if you have an issue with CakePHP have a large community. Lave has a large community. Kobinak have a large community. I forgot to mention this when I was going through them. Then number 5, the guy, the main guy. I believe you can all hear me. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Hope I'm not too fast, please. Hope I'm not too fast.
You are not too fast.
Okay,
No, you're not fast.
Okay. So like, for God's sake, what is ye? That is what some people will say. Go and learn ye. What is this guy talking about? What is ye? Until you now type it on the web, I'm one of the nicest, coolest framework in PHP ever. And the full meaning of this is yes, it is. Don't worry. The name, I think the guy that developed it is a Chinese guy. So the guy, I don't know, maybe it's not that good with English. The guy just flew from his language and English married together. I'm just kidding. Please don't mind me. So ye means yes, it is. Like this is the main framework. I've gotten it. Ye is simple and evolutionary. It has a high performance component base. The PHP framework is like it's structured now, especially when I check the last release for Ye, it's super nice. Like it meets the standard of a modern web application. Now, Ye is suitable for all kind of web app. Think about it. Any that you want to. If you even want to develop a content management system, just like WordPress, it can do it. E-commerce, any note, all framework can build all kind of applications. The reason is even if you want to build them on such frameworks, it takes time. It's stressful. You have to reconfigure some things. But Ye, because of the way Ye is structured, it make it easier, it make it suitable for all web applications that you want to build. Like they call it a universal web programming framework. Now, reason to use Ye as an easy installation process, like very easy, very, very easy. Furthermore, it has a robust security features that make the framework suitable for highly secure endeavors such as e-commerce projects, portals, CMS, forums, and many others. Any web application you can think of. It boosts SLN speed and performance. It is highly extensible and it lets developer avoid the complexity of writing repetitive SQL statements as they can model the database data in objects. He has a core developer team and experts that contributes to its development. And that is one of the key features that our first speaker noted. He said you have to check if this framework is being managed regularly before you say, okay, I want to choose this as my framework to build my application. You have to know the people behind that framework, the way they maintain the framework. He is extremely extensible, and you can customize nearly every piece of the core code. Every piece of the core code. I think the closest that I've seen is Flutter that make it possible for you to go deep to edit anything you want in the framework, and its performance will still be cool. However, if it's your first time using it, the learning curve is steep. Like learning Yi. Well, Yi was my first framework to learn, and I find it interesting. The first PHP framework. Now we have other PHP framework. We have other PHP. We have Falcon, we have Zen, we have Sling. Now Falcon is written in C and C++ engine, but you can still type your PHP. So Falcon is the fastest of all the frameworks listed. Then we have Zen. Some people say they use it in building banking solution and the rest, but these are list of other popular frameworks. Then we have Slim. Now, if you want to build an application that is not an enterprise application, like dealing with the application program interface, that is, you are only working with API, Slim is the best for you when it comes to those frameworks. Slim is best. So one of the things you have to take note of what those frameworks render and the type of application you want to build. If I'm dealing with an API for an application that is not that big, I'll go for Slim. If you are dealing with an application that the API, I believe we are all familiar with the word API. API. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Hello?
we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. You go with Slim. You go to with Slim with Lab. Sorry, a large scale application that require an application programming interface. I would have loved to talk about application interface because the web as of now, they break down every component into microservices. That's what they call it. Those microservices send application programming interface through JSON, GraphQL, SOAP. I want us to do research on them. I want us to do research on them and get to understand these things because just going web development is ever developing, is ever expanding. So what you know yesterday, they might have added something to it the next day. So it's something I want us to learn about it. And what next? What next after learning all this, after going to the list of all this framework, what next? The next thing our first speaker talked about what next, and what next is you sit down and look at these frameworks and draft out the type of application you want to build, and look at the framework that meets the requirements of the application you want to build, and that is what next. That is coding. You should start coding. That is what you need to do next. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. It's an honor to share my little understanding with you all. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Ayo. Is there any question?
Okay, good everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
we can hear you. We can hear you.
Yeah, hello, this is the final part. I don't know if you have any questions for the speakers. If you have any question, you can still indicate. Okay. I will assume none of us have any questions to ask. So this is the final stage. Let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Sule Hezekiah. I'm the Assistant Project Manager at Bincom Dev Center. I'm also the coordinator for events. Now, before we proceed to the last stage, please, as many of you that have not put your name and the prescribed info I asked at the beginning of this event, please go to the chat section and do that quickly. Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, so I said, as many that have not don't they are not in that section to put their names and the basic info asked of them there. Please, can you do that quickly? All right. Let's proceed. I'll be sharing my screen now. Okay. Just give me my screen now to load now. Still loading. Give me a minute for my screen to load. Okay, good everyone. Can you hear me? Hello, if you can hear me, please indicate.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So this is the Bincom Dev Center slide. It's basically this slide is basically to inform us about what Bincom Dev Center is, what we offer, and what we do on a monthly basis. So Bincom Dev Center is a multi-location based training and development center for technology resources and technology solutions. Now, under Bincom Dev Center, we have Bincom Academy. Bincom Academy utilizes Montessori approach in training participants in basic skills needed for a modern technology ecosystem. Yeah, what this basically means is that we run our own training center where we train people in different skills, majorly programming skills, and PHP, Python, graphic design, project management, and the rest like that. And then the second part under Bincom Dev Center is we have the Bincom Tech Internship. Now, this tech internship is designed to enable people at intermediate skill levels gain mastery and expertise over a period of time. And under that also we have a Bincom Tech Apprenticeship. Bincom Tech Apprenticeship is an industrial attachment at various skill levels to gain experience and on the job training. So another one we have the Bincom community and projects. Now this Bincom community and project is giving back to the community and building the tech ecosystem. They focus on informing and exposing youth to the current technology trends and how to prepare for the future in technology. Yeah, and an example of the Bincom community events and projects is the one we just had right now. Have more events coming up the following the coming week. So I urge as many of us attended this one to also endeavor to attend the next one. Now, finally, we have Lightspace. Lightspace provides helpful workspace intended to encourage collaboration and drive innovations in the startup ecosystem. We have spaces that is created and designed for various events like seminars, conferences, and get-together. And our locations, and the locations where we have all these, we have Ayaba, Lagos State location. We have Ibadan, Oyo State. We have Kano and Kano State. We have Kaduna State. Then we have Ijebu, Igbo in Ogun State. Then we also have Warri in Delta State. Now these are images in light space. Now these are some of the past events we had. We've had what's it called? We have events like seminars, we have get-togethers, and we have what's called meetups and other events that we also offer co-working spaces in light space and at a very affordable rate of 1,000 naira. And what that offers is we also get internet access, power supply, and comfortable working environment. So these are upcoming events on our Bincom community event. Now, this is the PHP Meetup is the one we just had, followed by the cloud hosting meetup, which is formerly coming up, which is formerly AWS meetup. And we also have Bincom Startup School, Angular meetups, social lender, digital financial service masterclass, EdTech meetup, Bincom ICT career talk, digital marketing meetup, data science meetups, Laravel meetups, and finally DevOps meetup. So all these events are going to be happening every Friday, and I endeavor everyone, as many of us that attended the one for today, to also do that. Then, if you have any questions related to Income Dev Center on how to register for our classes, also I need to remind everyone, for as many of us that want to register for any of our classes, just log on to bincom.net/attend to register for our paid classes. So our paid classes include PHP MySQL, mobile app development, Python for data science, graphic design, project management class, and we also have digital marketing class. So um, I think that's that's about everything you need to know about Income Dev Center. Thank you, and don't forget to register via the link on the chat section, and also put your after you register for the link on the chat section. Also put your name, your phone number, and your email address so that we can reach you whenever the need arises. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This will be the end of the meetup. Thanks everyone for attending. I really appreciate for sacrificing your time to attend, and I believe you've learned one or two things. Thanks so much, everybody. Goodbye.